Hey y'all, welcome back. So I'm coming on here quickly to speak on the whole speculation in regards to Kanye with some cryptic messages that he released. He recently shared some dark secret of his from the past that dealt with some incestuous behavior, and we're going to quickly read over what he has said. So, in a post on what is called now X, but formerly known as Twitter, he stated, "This song is called Cousins, about my cousin that's locked in jail for life for fill in the blank, deleting a pregnant woman a few years after I told him we wouldn't look at dirty magazines together anymore." And then Kanye continued, "Perhaps in my self centered mess, I felt it was my fault that I showed him those dirty magazines when he was 6. And then we acted out what we saw. My dad had Playboy magazines, but the magazines I found in the top of my mom's closet were different. My name is Ye, and I blanked my cousin's blank till I was 14. Now, y'all can go on the internet and search for this statement and read what I just read. But to sum it up and put a long story short, he basically had fellatio relations with his cousin. And I'm confused about the age differences. I'm confused about what age Kanye was, if his cousin was 6. In some way, he's alluding to having some guilt. That's what I'm thinking, because if your cousin was 6, I could only imagine what age he was. And then when you look at Kanye's natal placements and just his overall sun sign, he's a Gemini. And Geminis can deal with incestuous behavior. They can deal with the theme of cousins, the theme of siblings. Since Gemini is already a very curious energy, I don't put it past him, especially to get online. I feel like he's someone who's trying to live in his truth. He has a lot of dark secrets and whatnot. Maybe it's coming from his Pisces moon, but for him to get online, I just think, oh my gosh, it's so uncalled for, so unnecessary. But this is something that a dark sided Gemini would do. This is something that they could bring to people's attention, not necessarily to cause a frenzy, but more so to see what they could get away with. That's really what I think this is all about. I think he's trying to push the envelope in a mercurial way to see what he's able to get away with, because there's definitely some questions that should be brought to the table about what he said. Now, something that I did notice is that Kanye has his Jupiter and Gemini. And for those who have their Jupiter and Gemini, they can be overly stimulated. Jupiter actually is not a good place for Gemini to be. Jupiter and Gemini don't really mix well. It's not a good place for Gemini to be operating in, just because Jupiter can overexpand things. It can make you overindulgent in this area. This placement could make him hypercritical, hyper analytical. This can also make him extremely curious. So reenacting, especially since it's Jupiter and Jupiter rules over Sagittarius naturally, and Sagittarius has to deal with being self-taught, this is where I could see him reenacting some things that he's read that he was curious about and trying to teach himself how to do it, or teach, once again, since Gemini has to deal with cousins, it deals with friends and all of that stuff, I could see him teaching relatives, cousins, friends what you just learned out of curiosity. So with him having Jupiter and Gemini, that's very telling. It's squaring the moon. Moon does deal with your family dynamics. It deals with your household and things like that. And then Kanye has a Pisces moon. So I could only imagine how many secrets he has bottled and stored inside himself, and what severe things could have taken place in his household that was protected and is very sacred to him. Some things he may let out, some things he probably keeps in. He's going to take it to the grave. But more so, people who have a Pisces moon, especially a negatively aspected Pisces moon, like Kanye, they're going to struggle with bottling up their emotions. They're going to struggle with bottling up all of these secrets. And as he continues to deteriorate mentally, I can imagine a lot of his secrets being revealed. There's probably somebody close by near him already documenting all of this stuff and just waiting until the perfect timing to drop a tell-all book about him and expose everything. And I wouldn't be surprised. You know, he does have a challenged moon placement. And then he also has his Lilith in Gemini as well. And so, you know, Kanye is someone who is an attention seeker, an attention magnet, if you will. He knows what to say to spark some controversy. He knows what to say to get a frenzy, to get, you know, people all riled up. And that just comes with Gemini knowing the media and knowing how the media works. And so, trust me, Kanye is someone who thrives off of shock culture. And again, he's someone who's extremely artistic, extremely fantastical. You know, he lives within mysticism. I feel like he has these otherworldly ideas that are intertwined with fantasy, and he just has a hard time with bringing those concepts into reality since it's so out of touch when it comes to our current realm of living. And if you know about Kanye and his history, he lacks that emotional capacity to, like, you know, give a fuck. I think his ego is too prideful for him to attach his emotions to it. And so he comes off very apologetic, especially about people. Like, you never know how this is gonna affect his cousin, okay? And he's just out here, but who knows? It probably affects him more. He probably has some demons attached to him from whatever he introduced his cousin to. So, with that being said, I'm going to end the video here. Y'all leave a like, y'all subscribe, and also let me know your thoughts and opinions down below.